Hello, Hollywood Times viewers. Judy Shields here. We are excited to welcome award-winning country and bluegrass singers, songwriters from the Kody Norris Show band, Kody and Mary Norris. Hi, you two. How you doing?
We're wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Where are you guys dialing in from?
We are actually home today in Mountain City, Tennessee, so it's nice to be back home for the day.
Well, that's nice. What a treat.
For sure.
Thank you for having us again.
That home time is precious, I tell you.
Were you home yesterday for Mother's Day?
We were, and actually got to spend the whole day with my mom, so that was really, really nice. We went out to a restaurant and had a nice meal and spent part of the afternoon together, so that was really nice.
So she was probably happy to see you.
Oh yes.
Well, that's great. Well, today we're here to talk about something very special. I understand you've got a new album coming out.
Oh yes, we are so excited about this. We had so much fun recording it, everything along. It just sometimes you're trudging along, and the album isn't fun. And this one was fun from start to finish. We had a great time with it. Really, there's it's kind of an emotional roller coaster. There's all kinds of material on this, from the happy, really upbeat stuff that we're accustomed to, and some more heartfelt things, some sad, tear-jerking songs, all types of different things. So hopefully to appeal to a good broad audience. That's our goal anyway.
Well, believe me, folks, I've listened to it, and I listened to it last night. I'm on the train coming into my job, and I'm doing all this, and people probably thought, what is she listening to? Because feet were going, and I kept myself hitting the table. I'm like, I gotta slow it down a little bit.
That's great.
Some really great songs. So are you able to talk about the different songs and that kind of stuff?
Sure.
Well, I like to talk about, of course, when a new album's coming out, all the different songs that are on there. I know some you've written and some are others. Like the very first one was, of course, Mountain Rosalie, which was written back. I looked it up and it said the York Brothers in 1947. And of course, the one and only Ralph Stanley did it. Why'd you choose that song?
That's a song that the first time I heard it in a little local band that I used to play in. And we traveled around regionally different places within, maybe 100 miles of home where I live here. And one of the guys in the group, he always sang that. Of course, he did it more in the style of the York Brothers, from the 40s, and more of a country crooner type style. And later on, naturally, I heard the Ralph Stanley version of that. And with that being recorded for Rebel Records by Ralph Stanley nearly 40 years ago, we just figured, to breathe some new life into it. I kind of put, as I am often quoted saying, the Kody Norris Show hot rod effect to it, to try to kind of make it our own, get our own sound to it. And that's one I've sang occasionally on the show for years, and everybody always really liked it. So we put our own thing to it. Josiah Tyree came in there with a good 5-string banjo playing and tenor singing, and it really worked out good.
And I just happened to watch the video. You've got a video that's, has it been released?
Yes.
Oh, that is like the cutest thing. Whose idea, and where did you get the shots? Like, where did you film?
Well, we actually didn't, some of the shots were from a previous video because we didn't think we were going to actually need any like live shots of our, of the band. And I had this idea in my head to have, us on a road trip. Well, actually Kody on a road trip, finding Mountain Rosalie, and our marketing team, they did a great job on that. And it's so fun. And it's very different from us. We had never done a lyric video, and it was just a good. They did a really good job on that. That hit the spot a bit. So.
Yeah, Kody and the guys in that bus was like, okay, this just takes me back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was totally cute. We'll make sure we get that video link on there for people to watch it. Also, let's see, Baltimore I'm Leaving. Where'd that one come from?
I wrote that song. I've carried it around along. That's another one that, I'm really bad to start songs and not finish. And I've probably got 100 like that right now. And when it gets time to record, I go back and dig through those again. But that song, that's actually kind of true for me. I spent a winter once in the Baltimore, Maryland area, and found all too quickly that city life, that wasn't for me. As far, I travel to big cities all the time, perform in big cities, but actually, laying my head down and sleeping there every night, that was a different. It was just different. It was different for me, and not something. As the song says, city life just ain't my cup of tea. So we wrote that, recorded it, and we had a lot of fun with it, didn't we?
Yeah,
we had a lot of fun.
That's a fun song to play on stage too.
I love those bouncy type songs. I think they make people feel good.
Mary, does he bounce around? Do you have to control that, or is he okay?
On stage, he bounces around. His energy's kind of shot once we get off stage, I think.
Yeah, sometimes,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Now the next one is Fiddler's Rock. Do you play a lot on that one, Mary?
I do. And that's one I'll kind of let Kody tell a story about it. It's got a really, really cool story behind it. But when I first met Kody, he was, he'd always sit around and just play me songs he had wrote or whatever. And this one, this always stuck out. I loved it. And I loved the melody to it. And finally, after 10 years, I finally got him to record it. And I think this one's going to be a featured track for when the album releases. So, we're really excited about it. But I played the first fiddle on it. Then we had twin fiddles. And I think, is there 3 fiddles?
I think there's triples on it.
And Jason Berry from Joe Mullins and the Radio Ramblers, he plays the other 2 parts. And so it really meshed up good. And I'll let you tell the story behind it.
That song, actually, if you look right over my shoulder in this video on the bookshelf, there's 2 really big bright red books back there.
Yeah.
Those are 2 of 3 volumes of the history of Johnson County, which is where I live in northeastern Tennessee, in the most northeastern corner of the state. Fiddler's Rock is a part of a mountain range here in Johnson County called Stone Mountain. And the mountain is named after Mr. Martin Stone, who was a fiddler here in my county. And from what I gather and from what history says, and I'd heard that legend many, many times as a kid, talking about how this area of the county was haunted. And so with that being said, I was excited when, in 3rd grade, I think I was in 3rd grade, I found this book in our library at my elementary school, and I would go down there and read this story over and over and over again. But Martin Stone, he would take his fiddle on Sunday afternoons, and there was a den of rattlesnakes on this mountain, and he would play that fiddle. And I've heard of like snakes with their, all their movement charming people to where they're just, infatuated with what's going on. But the story goes that Martin Stone could actually charm the snakes with the fiddle. And they would lay erect in the sun, and his amusement was to shoot rattlesnakes. That was his amusement.
Well, and the place was overrun.
And it was overrun. With them, there were hundreds of them apparently. And but one day, while playing the fiddle, he starts watching the snakes. The snakes charm him, and the bow falls from his fingers. He falls into the den of snakes, and you don't have to. Know the rest of the story of Martin Stone.
So it's a pretty.
It's kind of an eerie type song, but I'm glad that we did it, especially for its historical significance.
Yeah. Well, that's one worth looking into. Whoa.
Yeah.
So, Mary, let's don't hear no stories about you charming no rattlesnakes.
No. You won't have to worry about me ever being around any snakes.
Good. Well, that was a good story. So the next one, Looking at the World Through the Windshield, which I believe Del Reeves recorded that in 1968, a long time ago.
I love 50s and 60s era country music, and especially the miles that we wrote. I've always been just a child of the highway, man. I've loved to travel since I was just a small boy. I would beg my parents on Sunday just to go ride around. I love to travel. And that's a song, all the stuff that Del Reeves done, that's right up my alley, and when we got in the studio and looking at some different stuff, the first session we didn't what direction. Sometimes you don't know what direction you're going to go. But just a few nights later, we were overnight in Nashville and just sitting around the bus, and I've got the mandolin out, and I hit that little intro, and it just kind of came to me, and I thought, man, that would work really, really good with that Looking at the World Through a Windshield. So
and then Aaron, the producer, I think, like randomly, like a couple days later, he was like, "You need to look into that song."
Yeah,
he's like, I think that'd be. He had heard it on. He had heard Dale do it
on Willie's Roadhouse, I guess. And maybe he and I there's a very good chance we could have both heard that at the same time because
Yeah.
we both brought it back to the table at the same time.
It was very ironic. So Darren kind of helped put the little spin on that with Kody, and that was fun.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
We do that on the show too, and I tell you what, people love it.
See, I just love the stories behind whether you wrote the song or why you recorded it. It's just amazing. So thank you for that. So next is Please Tell Me Why.
Well, that's got to be the tearjerker on there. And I think, every musician, especially with, relationship strain's one of the hardest things, I guess, of a musician's life. And, unanswered reasons sometimes why somebody might leave you, I guess. But that song comes from the perspective of some poor, sad-hearted person that their significant others walked off and left them with no reason of why.
This is not a true story for me and Kody.
No reason of what happened. But it's actually, this was Josiah Tyree's favorite song from the record, and I guess you would say
it's a very well written song, even if I have to say he did write it. But it's very well written, and it's got like this. It sounds like an old song, really. In a lot of ways, it sounds like maybe even a. I don't want to. It doesn't really have a name to it that you could put like, well, such and such did it, but it's just it sounds like an old song. Yes. And the way we did it, most people would think, well, it needs a fiddle kickoff. Well, we did a banjo kickoff and just kind of made it just a little different. And
we also came in there with the high trio, put Mary Rachel, we stacked the harmony with her on the high baritone part. And I had that in mind when I wrote the song. I wanted something else with that, that higher female voice in there. So it worked out very well.
Yes, it sure did. Gotta Bring My Baby Back.
I wrote that one in the kitchen 2 nights before we cut it. I love those upbeat, get down the road kind of.
That's probably my favorite one off the album.
Mine too. I have to say that's my favorite song from the record. Of course, that's my kind right there. That's what I like, and that's sort of what I'm known for. That real upbeat, in your face, peel the paint off the wall bluegrass music. That's what I've cut my teeth on all these years, and just the same. I don't want to say same old thing, but the typical run of the mill story of true love. I messed up and I got to get back home and be sure she's still there. And so we'd never had one of those of our own. So why not write one?
Congratulations. It is a great one.
Thank you.
Petals in the Fall.
Oh, I'll let you elaborate on that.
We almost actually cut that on the All Suited Up album, the first album off Rebel Records. And what ended up happening was, you go in and you cut songs, and it just sometimes one song just doesn't mesh with the others. And we had a lot of songs on the last album in that kind of same speed. So when we went back to the drawing board for this album, we were like, man, we've got to cut that song. Like, how are we going to cut it? So we ended up working it up a completely different arrangement on it. And I'm singing tenor. Kody goes to the baritone on the chorus, and Josiah comes in on the lead. And so I think that's how we did it, ain't it?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it creates a different blend of how things are done. And we do that throughout the CD on a couple other songs too. But
that song was written by a really good friend of ours, Larry Chun, one of the square dancers at the Grand Ole Opry. He's been there 30 years as a square dancer.
Larry?
Yeah. And just, finest songwriter. He really write a song, and he's been one of the best friends that I've ever had. For Mary Rachel and I, he and his wife Cheryl, they've been wonderful, wonderful friends to us since we've started playing music. I love those folks to death.
But every song he's wrote up to this point, he's already saving for us. So no need for anybody to even reach out to him.
Way to come back, Mary.
Yeah. I want to save that.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to give those out to anybody else.
All right. So we have more hits to come from you guys. Oh my gosh. Endless Highway. There you go.
Yeah, that's an old Alison Krauss song. And
that was a suggestion
was a suggestion of Darren's. And there's another song that will be released at some point. I don't know if it'll be, on another Kody Norris Show album or if it'll be on a solo album of my own, but we were between that one and Endless Highway, and Darren kind of pushed me to do Endless Highway, and he actually got Brooke Aldridge is singing the higher part, and Darren comes in, and so we had some special guests on that album, or on that song in particular, and I've always liked this song, and I think it talks about Tennessee, which Kody's from Tennessee, so it really kind of hits home anyway. So we cut that, and we tried to do it a little bit different than Alison, but she done it so good, there wasn't much straying away from it.
That's for sure.
To add to it. So anyways, we ended up putting it on there.
He's one of my favorites, and you two are like filling that void, because you guys are amazing. Gotta say that many times. So number 9, Otto Wood.
That's one. Yeah.
People probably aren't expecting that.
When
I wasn't.
Teenager, I played quite often. Being a multi-instrumentalist, everybody, when they figure out you can play everything and sing a few parts, everybody's calling. And one of the people that I'm so happy to have crossed paths with in my life, and I grew up around him, but growing up around him, he was a farmer and a county commissioner where I live. But once I started playing music, I found out he'd had major impact in the music business. His name was Clint Howard, and Clint Howard was the first group, he and Fred Price, that Doc Watson toured with in the early 60s. And he lived in my town. And when I was a teenager, I played the banjo in his band, and that's a song that he did a lot, was Otto Wood the Bandit. And that was a song written from what best to my recollection, the Carolina Buddies back in the 20s. And that was, another good true story song. And we worked that up very different. I play several styles of guitar, and I've never gotten, really to showcase those on a record. And Josiah is also a phenomenal harmonica player. He didn't play harmonica on this project, but I wanted him to get the opportunity to showcase that on stage with a little bit different style of guitar playing that I can do. And what better way to do it than with a good old traditional folk song, that's been passed around to tell a true story. And it's really, really a neat song.
It is. Thank you for doing that one.
We actually thought the reason why we hadn't ever really recorded it was because we had kind of figured that it had been over recorded,
But it
hadn't. A lot of people do it on stage, but nobody ever had really recorded it. And so we were like, man, we got to do this. And when we do it, we got to do it something a little bit different, than what people are expecting to hear from us. So that's probably our more far-fetched song on the album. But I'm happy that we did it because, that's got a lot of places to be able to be played other than just the normal.
And I have to say, that's probably the furthest I've ever went out on a limb as far as to showcase what I can do. I just hope I don't cut the branch off. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm happy that we did it, and I certainly hope that the fans will enjoy that.
Oh boy, they will. If they're your fans, they will. It's really good. Oh, so the next one, I believe, your current single, I Can Call Her Sunshine.
Oh yes, I Call Her Sunshine. Man, that's when the first time I heard this song, it was brought to me by a friend of mine, John Buckwheat Green, and I knew right away that was a Josiah Tyree song. He'd had to have that high voice in there. There's been a few people along the way that have recorded that, but I think Josiah did a very, very good job at making it his own. Since recording it, and this is really neat, I actually got to meet the son of the gentleman who wrote this and many, many other really good bluegrass songs, Don Sowards, and met his son, Mark. He came to a performance we had in Lexington, Kentucky a while back, and it was really, really nice to meet him. He's a wonderful man. And we're excited, hopefully, to record some more Don Sowards songs.
Yeah, something else that was kind of neat about that, when we did the music video for it, which if they have not seen that, they have to go over. You got to go over and check it out. It was a good day. We had, we brought in some different actors rather than me and Kody and the guys doing everything again. And we wanted to use a vehicle in the album, but we didn't want it to be a vehicle of, another old truck or something like that. So we ended up just using a Volkswagen. And come to find out, the guy that wrote this, his favorite vehicle was a Volkswagen Beetle. And
what's the chances of that happening?
It was like, whoa, we nailed that one.
So that made us feel like we'd found the right song for sure when we heard that.
For sure. Boy, you guys got some luck there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an awesome story. Oh, wow. Okay, next one. Let all the girls know you're a cowboy.
Oh man, I love that song. I always love that.
Yes.
And I love any song that make people smile. And that one's got, that's got a quirky little line to it. Of course, I'm about all things Western. I love everything along those lines. You can tell that by my clothes. Don't own a horse, but
we got too much.
We just got too much
do.
going. We've talked about getting some, but we just got too much going on at this point in the game. But a lot of the decor in our house, you'll find, Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and all that type of stuff. I love that. I love the style of all that.
Yeah.
And that's a song I actually heard the first time. It wasn't a bluegrass song. If you go research the Jim Silvers version of it, who wrote it, but
it was
the
first kind of draggy and not draggy. Would you say
it was a slower type tempo? But the version of it that I'm more familiar with, Curly Seckler and the Nashville Grass, right after Lester Flatt had passed away, recorded this on an album with Marty Stewart and Johnny Cash. And Pete Coram, the bass player, sang this song, and I'd heard it many times, but didn't. There again, it was another one of those that kind of got swept under the rug, and nobody hadn't done anything with it in a while. So we recorded it, we put it in our stage show, and everybody really likes "Let All the Girls Know You're a Cowboy."
Woohoo! That's a good one. Oh, and last but not least, My Home in Virginia.
Back to the All Suited Up record, our previous record, Brand New Hit in Nashville. That was written by a man named Gary Sanders. Gary Sanders from the Norton, Virginia area, Wise County, Virginia. And he also wrote My Home in Virginia. And I discovered both of those songs the same day when I was 12 years old. And it's amazing that I've carried that around that long and, had never got around recording it. But I really like that. It's a song about longing for home, and one to kind of stop and make you think just a minute.
That's one of those songs too, where the first of it, we modulate up
Yes.
on the second part, and Kody goes to singing.
I sang the lead on the first part of the song.
Yeah, with Josiah on tenor,
and
Charlie
then
on baritone.
and then on the second part, Josiah jumps to the lead. I go down to the baritone, and Mary Rachel hops up to the tenor.
So we a lot of bands used to do that, and somewhere along the line it kind of became the not so you just don't do it. It wasn't typical, and we have kind of had to bring that back with me singing higher. Some of the stuff that they sing is too low for me to sing with them, and then some of the stuff is too high for them to sing with me if I'm singing lead. So we've had to learn how to kind of bring those modulations back in, and it creates a whole different.
Oh yeah,
it's
something totally different.
It just makes a cool sound on stage too. So, but we hope everybody enjoys Rhinestone Revival. We've put a lot of
blood, sweat, and tears in there.
it.
That's for sure.
And as we've been telling everybody, we hope they join the revival. We hope they come out and start wearing rhinestones, and our new suits all have fringes on them, and So, and you can kind of see in that picture, that's the album cover. We've got the fringe on. The guys have it on their sleeves and down the back of their suit coats, and that's something we're going to keep because
we're going to keep that. We enjoy that, and the fans really like that. And
I kind of match. Look at me.
Yeah, you do.
How that happen?
Yeah.
I just noticed that. I'm like, I match.
But I can't express enough just how grateful we are to our entire team, everybody at Rebel Records and 2911 Publicity, Joey, our booking agent, and our bus driver, RG, the bus driver. We're so thankful for him.
It takes everybody to make it go.
It takes the whole team to make it work. And thanks to Darren Aldridge for producing a great record again. This is our second one with Darren. Darren's my pal. We go back a long way. And the band works so hard to do their best to cover up all my mistakes and make me sound good. So I'm so thankful for that.
Well, let's talk about the other two band members. You got a banjo player and a bass player.
Yes, our bass man, Charlie Lowman, he's been with me 3.5 years. Charlie's from Chicago, Illinois, and moved to East Tennessee. And Charlie does a good job. He's a good, just solid, traditional bass player, just what I like, but he can also hot rod it real good too. And Charlie, he's a multi-instrumentalist. He plays everything, and he can sing the parts. And he's really came in there and done a great job. Josiah Tyree's been with me 6.5 years, man. He's basically grown up in this band. He started with me when he was 17 years old.
No.
And in my opinion, the best banjo player and tenor singer in bluegrass music today. He's got something uniquely his own. And when you hear him, you know it's him. And he's my right arm. And Mary Rachel and I feel so blessed to have both those boys working with us. And we're a big family, and that cohesion comes out. You can hear that in the music.
A lot of people don't know this, but we have 5 other band members too. They're little and they're 4-legged, but they travel with us as well. And you can probably hear them barking their brains out downstairs.
I can hear them.
We've tried every way in the world to keep them quiet this morning, but it's just not happening. There's people outside.
There's painters outside working today, so they got to be sure to let everybody know that they know exactly what's going on.
Let everybody know there's a dog instead of cowboy.
What type of dogs do you have?
We have Shih Tzus and Poodle mixtures, and then we actually rescue. They're a full family. We have the mom and the dad, and then they had 3 puppies, and they're full grown now. So they're all 5, 6, 7 years old, and they travel with us on the bus. And then we found a husky collie mix about 2.5 years ago, and he just fit in like he was one of them. And he's really, really hairy compared to them. And we're not to that, but they're a full little family. And it's really nice.
And actually right now, he's hanging out in the car when you come home in the afternoon, or even in the morning he rides to town with us to do whatever. And his favorite place to go is the bank because they give him treats at the bank.
Yeah.
But
you can't get him out of the car.
He won't come out of the car. You just have to roll all the windows down in the car, and he hangs out in the car until time to come in the evening.
So you won't ever have to worry about anybody still in the car.
Well, no, but the only bad part, it's a very expensive doghouse. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So Mary, I know you're probably so busy, but listen, in your spare time, you need to write a children's book about that dog. That's an amazing adventure.
Actually, I have tried for years to get Kody to write a children's book about just some characters and stuff of the county. And
that's a bucket list thing I would love.
I have tried really hard. So maybe if we ever get the time, he can. I tell him it's not hard, but then he says, if it's not hard, well, why don't you do it? So
you guys each have to buy each other a hand recorder.
But
so
anyways, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having us, and glad to be able to do this again.
Yes.
Yes, I was glad to welcome you back. And folks, the album is going to be released on June 2nd.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
So that'll be here before you know it. And you guys, I read here that you're going to have a first ever album release party there.
Oh man, I'm excited about that. 3rd and Lindsley, Nashville, Tennessee, man. We're so excited about that. It's going to be a big night. And for everybody who comes to attend the show, if you buy a ticket to the show, you get a free copy of that album on CD that night, autographed. So we're excited about that.
I got to get on a plane and show up.
Yeah,
you should do that.
Come on out.
Man, I want to come to Nashville so bad.
I can't think of a better reason whatsoever.
Yeah, you guys are also touring. You said locally. You toured.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got actually we will be in Ireland in June.
Yes.
On tour, and then we are going to Australia. Well, I'm pretty
in November.
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous about that. It's a long way from home, but we're really looking forward to both of those. Australia's in November, and between now and then, we are in several different states. So we'll actually be in California in June at
Grass Valley, California, at the Father's Day Bluegrass Festival.
I'll have to look up where that is from Los Angeles. I'm no idea. It's got to be up north somewhere, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
come see us.
Yeah,
you should really try to come see us.
I'm gonna look it up and see what I can do because I want to meet you too and hear you live.
Free ticket.
Yes, there you go. Oh my goodness. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll put up all the links to be able to purchase because you can pre-order your album, so we want to get that going.
There'll be pre-order bundles available here soon with the new T-shirt and.
This album will be released on vinyl as well, so we're very excited about that.
That'll be still my heart.
There'll be the traditional black version, and then also an orange burst. It's really, really neat. We're excited about
that. Yes. Oh my gosh, how exciting. I'm so happy for you two. Congratulations. This one is going to just skyrocket. More awards for you coming.
We sure hope
We
so.
hope so.
We sure hope so. Thank you so much for taking the time today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you too. And we'll keep in touch for all the
All
next
Like a plan.
coming up.